Okay, so today we're going to check out Mahalia Jackson's church, Greater Salem Missionary Baptist Church here in Chicago. It's raining a bit, so we'll take the red line south and walk to 71st Street. We are Mahalia Jackson's membership, Greater Salem. We're on the corner of Yale and 71st. 71st is also an honorary street name, has an honorary street name, Emmett Till. But this is the history here. We're in Inglewood, which is a neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. This is where Mahalia Jackson prayed, worshiped, sang. Originally, Inglewood was a suburb, and it was annexed to Chicago. I don't know when, but it's a predominantly black neighborhood. Okay. Mahalia Jackson moved to Chicago in 1927. She toured Chicago churches with Johnson gospel singers. And then she met Thomas Dorsey in 1927. I'm giving you a little bit. The docents may give you more information, or they may cover this. I don't know exactly what they're covering. But I'm going to go ahead with my vlog as usual until we get the interview, until we go in. So, Mahalia Jackson was a giver. She was a definite giver. Very generous with helping people. Now, she established the Mahalia Jackson Fund to help send people to college. And January 27th, 1972, she passed. Just a side view here. There's a photo online with her standing up against the brick wall with the minister. I don't know which side that is. One of these sides. He's here, but we're about to go in. Here we are. When I entered the sanctuary entrance area, I knew I was someplace special. Our two docents are Patricia Moore and Renee Hartfield. Let's listen to what they have to say. We are at Greater Salem Baptist Church, and we are speaking with two of the church's docents, and we are getting some information from them pertaining to Mahalia Jackson. Please state your name.
Patricia Moore.
And?
Renee Hartfield.
Thank you for being here today. I know you didn't have to do it. Let me see. First question I would like to ask. I wrote it down. I was trying to pull it up. As you were saying a little earlier, what year did Mahalia join Greater Salem, approximately?
I don't know the exact year, but it was in the 1940s.
Okay. And that would have been before this congregation moved to this location?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and that first location was?
3000 South LaSalle Street.
Okay. And that church is no longer there because of the Dan Ryan Expressway.
Yes.
Okay. All right. How long have you been members of this church?
Well, I've been a member since I was 16, so
I've been a member since I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And I'm 83 now.
Oh, well, all right.
And I've been a member since I was 16, and I'm 75 now.
I'm going to just read a little bit of this, the church history that I got down. Greater Salem is a historic church celebrating 112 years, starting the same year Mahalia Jackson was born, February 8th, 1911. And 31st and Federal was the church's first location. The church had children: Antioch in 1922 and New Covenant in 1926. The church is also renamed Greater Salem. Zion Temple was established in 1930, and these were offshoots of Greater Salem when the church split, had a few splits there. Since 1958, Greater Salem has been in its current location. In 2019, under the leadership of Reverend Dr. Leon Jenkins, Jr., Minister Georgia Archibald Little, and Minister Sheila Harmon have become the first females in the history of Greater Salem Missionary Baptist Church licensed to preach. Okay, my first question was, when did Mahalia Jackson, and you answered that already. Okay, moving to the next. Do you know who was the pastor at the time?
Reverend W.L. Petty.
Okay. Was there any specific reason that you're aware of why Mahalia joined Greater Salem?
She loved the church. She loved the atmosphere. She loved the people, their friendship, and she loved the way Reverend Petty preached, delivered his sermons.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in the gospel chorus.
Yes.
She was in the gospel chorus, which she grew up in.
When she decided to join Greater Salem, she joined our gospel chorus.
Okay. Hey, look, the next question I had is there a service that you remember? I said, no, throw that away. You're not. I need an older person.
What was your question?
That would be, is there a service that you remember that was just if somebody was older, if I was talking to somebody old enough that would remember.
No,
but, right, I know.
You're talking to somebody
right, exactly.
that remembers.
I mean, that was there. You were.
Come on.
Okay,
come on
okay.
with your question.
You know, I'm thinking you have to be 95 or something like that to have remembered, but you do.
Question.
Okay. Okay, then this is legitimate then. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Was there a specific service that you remember that she was a part of?
We had, we used to have, not watch meeting, what was it called? When she put on a, oh God, what was it called? These tents that they have now out,
A revival?
That's it.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to think of. Thank you, sister. Yes, she ran revivals at our church several years. One that I really remember and take notice to was my husband joined this church under her revival, and he had been a Catholic before then.
Now, I have here in the notes that she moved to Chicago in 1927 at 16. She joined Greater Salem soon after. So she could have been a member even earlier. Is that possible? 30s?
They say she would come,
visiting
when she could.
Okay.
But her business and what have you kept her from coming as regularly as she wanted to come.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But she would always say that she was tired of doing hair. She had been like up all night doing hair or something like that. No.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure she came several years before she joined our church. But my mother, who knew her very well, said that she joined when I was a young girl, like about 4 or 5.
Yes, I know you don't.
Okay. That's interesting. See, originally, I didn't think that anyone would be here that would remember. That's why I thought to throw the question out.
No,
but,
no.
But yeah, they're
No,
okay.
No.
So
And she and my mother were very good friends.
Okay.
My mother's name was Nadine Beatty. My mother even sewed for her in her later years after she became famous. She came to our house, sat down, ate a dinner, and her musician, who was Mildred Falls, and she had a male musician at that time. He was a organist at First Church of Deliverance. I can't think, what is his name?
Because it was two ladies that I saw.
Yeah, no.
Mildred Falls.
Oh, you're talking about
Mildred Falls and what's the other lady?
the other little lady, the little short lady. Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but no. This guy, he played before the little lady did. Let me see, what was the little lady's name? I can't think of. Now, the last two that she has was Mildred Falls and Theodore Fry. Those were her last two musicians. And I had the privilege of accompanying her to, where was that we went to? The summer that I graduated from high school, which was 1958, she treated me to, she had a concert in, not Oswego, out of town, and I accompanied her on her concert.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty deep.
Yes.
Now, Studs Terkel was a...
Studs Terkel was her manager at one time. And he accompanied her here on various programs that we had. Several times he accompanied her to this church when she had various programs, or she just came to sing. He was in our audience.
Yeah, and I was hearing that he was associated with Decca Records, or he led her to Decca Records to get a recording deal with Decca, and he came to Greater Salem specifically looking for her.
Yes.
And she did go ahead and cut some music with Decca. Also on Decca label was Louis Armstrong. They both coming from out of New Orleans. She toured Chicago churches with the Johnson Gospel Singers.
Yes.
You familiar with that group?
It's the same here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Prince Johnson, Robert Johnson, Lillian Johnson were the other singers in the Johnson Singers, as well as Louise Lemon Coates and Mahalia Jackson. Lillian Johnson was the musician, and there were the two brothers were Robert Johnson and Prince Johnson.
And she met Thomas Dorsey in 1927. I'm not sure if I'm sure he's been here, Thomas Dorsey.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's been here pretty much. She had so many connections with so many different people. And she established the Mahalia Jackson Fund to help send people to college.
Yes.
You were telling me that whenever Mahalia was in town, that she would have a certain seat.
Yes.
And that seat, you want to point to it?
Right there.
I
The
was
second seat.
thinking it was this one.
The second seat right there.
That pew. Okay. Was she a member of, I guess she traveled a lot, so she probably wasn't in the choir stand singing every Sunday.
Oh, no.
But whenever she come to the city, she would come to Chicago.
Yeah.
She'd come to our church.
And most of the times when she did come in, our pastor would ask her to sing a song.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That hasn't changed.
No.
That still happens today. We'll cover there. Okay.
I was telling them about the lights that she bought. She bought
Oh,
these
yeah.
lights.
She bought the lights.
Oh, she bought the lights
These
over.
large lights you see. She purchased them.
Yes.
She was very good friends with our pastor's father.
And she also purchased our first organ for us at our old church. She bought our organ for us.
Okay.
At our church.
That was the organ in the photo?
3000 South LaSalle.
Okay.
No, that organ.
Okay.
She also put on a program where actor Harry Belafonte came, and she introduced him because that was one of the programs that she presented to help us purchase our organ. Harry Belafonte Jr. was our guest at our old church, 3000 South LaSalle. And of course, the ladies were just pawing.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, when he came down the aisle, it was like, sensation.
Yeah.
And he came to our old church, and one Sunday afternoon. At that time, at our old church, we had a balcony, and the entire church was packed. It was like about 3,000 people at that church.
Yeah. When she was born, she was crippled and couldn't walk, but her legs eventually healed. Her grandfather was a slave, and her father was a preacher. She came to Chicago. She was cleaning homes in the day. She went to her Aunt Anna's church. I don't know what church that was. And started singing, and no one joined in. So that goes back to what you were saying. It's a friendly church. She joined Greater Salem after. That wasn't the church for her. She was very adamant about sticking with gospel music.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And not singing anything
Yes,
else
she
but
did
gospel
not.
music.
She did not want to sway or do any type of rhythm and blues or anything. No, she wanted to sing for the Lord.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And the only producer that would do that was Terkel. That's why she stuck with him, because the other producers like Capitol Records and other records companies, they wanted her to switch and go to rhythm and blues, and she said no.
Yeah.
If she recorded anything, she wanted to record something for God.
And that she did. Even though she spent some time, grew up and born in New Orleans with all of that good music in New Orleans. Living in New Orleans at that time, she heard King Oliver playing on a truck in New Orleans before either of them left New Orleans. She also heard Louis Armstrong playing in New Orleans before he came to Chicago. So she was around some very good music right from the start. And she moved to Chicago the same way the others did.
She had that voice.
See, she had the rhythm from New Orleans.
Yeah.
That's why some of the churches did not want her to come and sing, is because of her style of singing. See, Greater Salem opened, when she came, we opened up her with open arms. But some of the churches, even Baptist churches, did not want her to come because of her style of singing.
Yeah, she was known for changing the rhythms and this kind of
Right.
thing.
And see, they did not want that type of rhythm in the churches. But she said that it was in her to sing like that, and that's the way she sang.
Yeah.
She wanted to feel something when she sang.
And she did.
Exactly. And that was another reason why she joined
Yes,
this church.
yes.
I tell you, I got to get here on a Sunday. I got to check it out. Mm-hmm. In 1970, Louis Armstrong's birthday, she did perform at Newport Jazz Festival with Louis Armstrong. And she sang Just a Closer Walk with Thee, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Louis came up. After she sang it, Louis kept the music going. Louis started singing, but she had to feed Louis Armstrong the words. Mm-hmm. Just a close, and Louis would echo her. And they sang it through like that. I just found that interesting. That's on a video you can find on YouTube where she's assisting Louis in singing the words of Just a Closer Walk with Thee. I think that was in 1970 at the Newport Jazz Festival, Louis Armstrong's birthday. Let me see. I got that wrong about Terkel being it. It was Hank Williams who was associated with Decca Records. And he came to Greater Salem to hear Mahalia, to record Mahalia. It was Studs Terkel was dealing with he was also a radio announcer.
I thought he was a business, wasn't he? A business?
Who, Hank Williams?
No,
No,
Studs
Studs
Terkel.
Terkel.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a journalist.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. But as far as getting her recorded, it was Hank Williams that came here to visit her and hear her, whatever. And that's how she got recorded on Decca. I was mistaken that was with Studs Terkel, since Studs had something to do a little bit with radio. And Mildred Falls was Mahalia's pianist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I imagine she's been here to play.
oh, yeah.
I would imagine.
I remember.
How long has this piano been here?
Ooh,
Is this the piano?
No.
Probably
no,
not.
No, that's not the original
Okay.
piano, no.
I would say about, 30 years?
This piano,
25, 20,
about 25.
about 20.
Another interesting thing in my research, Mahalia wanted to be a minister with her own church. You familiar with? Ever heard that before? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that in a documentary about her. Isaac Hockenhole was her first husband.
Ike Hockenhole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And
He was a gambler.
yeah. And everybody was trying to get her to sing blues, including her
Yeah, 'cause
husband.
they say with more money than that.
Yes.
Yeah. But she didn't turn away.
Mm-mm.
She did not turn away. Okay. Mahalia passed January 27th, 1972. And her 50,000 people were outside of this church.
I believe it, honey, because that line was,
Yes.
I'm telling you, from
They
it was
had
two
police-
or three
they had police
blocks.
everywhere.
Oh, yeah?
Because I came from work that day, and the only somebody that really could get in here, really a certain spot, was the church, church members, but it was lined up 2 or 3 blocks down.
Down 71st?
all around.
All the blocks,
That
okay.
way
You
and
couldn't,
that way.
you couldn't, it was people everywhere.
Okay. And then the next day, the funeral was at McCormick Place, or Erie Crown Theater, as we call it today.
Right.
Hmm. And then they flew her body back to New Orleans, and they had a service there as well. All of the good work that Mahalia has done and left. What would you say that she's left this church?
Well, she
A
left,
legacy.
that's what it is,
A
because
legacy.
people come, like our First Lady was saying, people have come from all parts of Europe and different places.
Germany,
Just to-
we had
just
a
to-
Germany person come just about every
Right,
year.
just to,
Sit and he
just
just
be-
wanted to listen to the songs
Right.
that she sang.
and just be here where she had been.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Greater Salem is known for Mahalia Jackson.
Yeah.
There was a lot of churches that wanted her to be a member, and they would even try to say that, but she kept her membership here. And she was very close to Reverend Jenkins Sr. They were very, very close. That was our pastor's father.
Yeah, there's a photo of her standing outside the church with Reverend Jenkins.
They were very close,
Yeah.
very, very close.
Yeah.
And she kept her membership here.
Yeah,
No matter where she went, she was a member of Greater Salem Missionary Baptist Church.
Yes, indeed.
But I've heard other churches say that she was a member of their church, but she was not.
Yeah, everybody's claiming.
But she was not.
There's something comforting about that, I think, for the European that come here. There's something very comforting about being here. Yeah. I thank you for being here today and sharing the information that you have pertaining to Mahalia Jackson. I'm sure our viewers are much appreciative. Like I said, I wanted to do this on the first vlog, but I just ran out of time. And as usual, a lot of memory on my phone. These vlogs take a lot of memory, so I don't get to video as much. But thank you again. In closing, is there anything that you'd like to share?
Well, one thing I would just like to say, this lady and her mother, was a part of this gospel chorus where Mahalia Jackson came out from, so that was special anyway, for her, a special, famous woman to come out of a choir that they knew. I was born and raised in the senior choir, but I was here and see her, perform and come in, but she was really involved, her and her mother, because they was in the choir, so, and it's not too many people that can really say that, because, Greater Salem will be 112 years old. We have a long history. But she was very special, and I was telling you before, when she come in, the church would just light up. I remember that I would be sitting out, I wasn't a member at that time, but my grandmother brought me, so I had a chance to see. But she was a special lady, had her own special way of singing. And I don't think at this time, I don't think there's anybody that has been able to top her, because, there's some good gospel singers. I'm not saying the Winans and different ones, they sing good, but they don't have that tone that she had.
Her voice was
is just, we haven't had anybody like that.
She's been compared to Enrico Caruso, the famous operatic singer.
Oh, really? Well, I don't know, but I know they've tried to say different people,
There have been a lot of people that try to emulate her, but
they
none
can't.
of them
They
can.
cannot.
No.
They cannot. And her music, if you listen to her music even today, it just sounds like she's still here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, it's just something that's, I think it's just going to always be a part of our history.
Yeah.
And even when they had the dream, the March on Washington, when she was talking to Martin Luther, tell him about your dream and all that, she's just special. She was a civil rights person too, you know what I'm saying? To tell Martin Luther King to tell him about your dream, Luther, and he did that, and so she was just always a special black woman. And I'm sure during the time that she was growing up and during the time that she started singing, I'm sure that she ran into a lot of segregation, a lot of different little things, that black people had to go through with, But she stayed in her bounds.
She stayed firm to her beliefs.
Yes, she did. She stayed with it. That was a wonderful thing.
The only thing that I want to add is I have been the director, one of the directors. I've also been the minister of music. I've been in the music field at this church for over 60 years.
Yes, she has.
So you have a lot of familiarity.
Oh, yes.
What's going on in her music?
Yes.
And I've worked with her quite a few years, I'm sure about 30 years or more. And she's always, my brother and I, have worked with her, and she always tried to give us opportunity to do things, and wasn't that type of person. Sometimes when people have those different titles, that, they kind of change, or they look at you as a little guy. But she always keep us a part of everything, so. And that's what I love about her. And she has worked with the youth and the choir. I've seen over the years. I mean, she worked with so many people with the music, and it's just been a wonderful experience, because I'm a choir director myself, and working with another director, it's a lot of things that the church maybe not know, the choir don't know, but we held it together and did the best we could do, and still trying to do the best we can do.
Yeah. Thank you again.
You're so welcome.
You're so welcome.
Bless you.
Thank you for the opportunity. Our First Lady called us and asked us about doing this. And I said, well, okay then. But I said, well, it's a privilege.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
It really is to be called out when it's other people, maybe some of the others might have said something. But she chose me and Renee Hartfield to do this. And it's an honor.
I'm grateful. Thank you. All right.
Owensboro, Kentucky. That's the name of the place.
Ah, Owensboro, Kentucky. She remembered before the camera went dark. It must be great, again, to have that kind of memory about Mahalia. Thanks again to Greater Salem Missionary Baptist Church, Pastor Leon Jenkins Jr. and First Lady Jenkins, as well as Patricia Moore and Renee Hartfield for making time for us. I must admit, I do shed a tear whenever I hear Mahalia sing. Thanks for watching. Check out some of these photos provided by the docents and a couple of videos at the end. Till next time.
I worked next door to her, and she was beautician, and she had a beauty shop at 3252 Indiana.
Mm-hmm. And your barber shop was next door.
And the barber shop was 3254 Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, how you doing? She really, that was just a common wall between our two businesses, you know, which means that it wasn't like a brick wall or anything, a common wall. And I could hear her singing.
Oh, okay.
When she would have a notion to sing, and man, I'd just stop. If I wasn't, you know, working, I'd be right there, and I would move till she got through singing. Cause, ooh, that was a golden melodious voice. And she just be singing, you know, because that was in her. And she naturally was using her gift. And she loved the church. And she was very committed to the ministers. She really... and early on in her career, she did a lot of, she'd go to these churches and she'd sing, and they didn't give her that much, you know. But as time moved on and she became more and more a celebrity, you know, she wouldn't come for just nothing.
When I was growing up in the city of Chicago, my mama, she was a film director. She used to take us over Mahalia, and they was always good friend Mahalia Jackson. She used to take me on Mahalia Jackson house, and she said, get in there. Mahalia used to have them dishes all the way to the ceiling no more. And I used to get in there and have to wash them dishes on my other side.
I heard she used to cook, and so she didn't go out and hang out, so she would cook at our house for friends.
She was a good cook, and she also did hair. Before she got to singing famous, she was doing hair. You know, she had her own shop and everything. Yeah, and she also gave that building where Operation Push is with Jesse Jackson Sr. She gave that building to Jesse Jackson. They even tried to, not the feds, but the other people, they tried to investigate, like, maybe there was something wrong in her giving that building. But before she died, she gave that building to Jesse Jackson Sr.
Yeah.
For Operation, for her.
Operation Push.
Because, you know, she was always there. She even told Martin when he got his Nobel Peace Prize in 1963, you know, he was at, I had Martin, we just come off a celebration on the 28th of August. She once told him, she said, let everybody know about your dream, Martin. That was Mahalia. That was her inspired. Because she donated a lot of money to the SCLC, Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Dr. King.
Yeah.
She never was like really rich like that. She gave a lot to the people.